On the 1st of July 2023, after searching for a new home for nearly 4 years, we decided to move to a Scottish island to be its only 2 residents. 3 weeks ago we arrived here permanently with our 2 pet sheep and pair of cats. Due to the unusual nature of island life and very remote living, we want to document everything and invite you to join us for the ride. We have a 1700 Stonecroft cottage to completely gut and restore, veggies to grow, livestock to build up, fish to catch and smoke, a boat to buy, antiques to restore, and much more. Step back in time with us at the Scottish Isle.
So where are we going today?
We're going to our local hardware shop in the closest town, which is a couple of hours away. That's going to be exciting, isn't it?
I cannot wait. I love hardware.
I'm going to pick up a couple of bins, which would make for excellent viewing. And look in the local thrift shop.
We need furniture.
Scott needs a new office chair. And, well, the last thing we need to be doing really is buying furniture for the cottage, because there's no road to the cottage. So anything that we buy, we have to seriously think about how we get it to the place. Seeing as we don't have a boat yet, that's out of the question, so small things.
Everything has to be walked, a quarter of a mile down dirt tracks, and that's everything from a pen to a massive TV.
Yes, let's not talk about the TV.
No.
Even just after not quite a month of island life, a trip into any built-up area is a bit of an offence to the senses for us. We're much more used to peace and quiet now. Fort William, with its tourist drawing shops and bustle of bodies, is no different, so we've peppered our visit this time with a bit of history and culture. Set back on Fort William High Street stands the Scottish Episcopalian Church of St Andrews, built between 1870 to 1890 over the site of a much earlier chapel. Episcopalians in this part of Scotland were perceived as generally having Jacobite leanings, and so, after their infamous defeat at Culloden in 1746, Episcopalianism was suppressed alongside the wearing of traditional dress and the outlawing of folk songs. This oppression lasted 46 years, after which time the first Episcopal church was built on this site. Once that chapel fell into disrepair, this church took its place and was built from fine French and local stone as well as some Connemara marble. Its grandeur was due to the fact that it was intended to be a bishop's seat, a cathedral, but this never came to fruition.
This is obviously the back of the house. This is the old, like, 1960s extension. This is just all corrugated iron, and this is the beginning of the stone wall. That one's all the way along, obviously, over there. This here is where the damp issue is, specifically in what's the bedroom. Now this trench down here runs the full length of the house, but at this point here, this is the elevated point. Now when they built this, it drains off into the two directions, so to the right and the left of it. Goes all the way down there and then goes all the way down there. Now the problem that we've got is all this mud and dirt has all built up over the years, and all the water is just seeping straight into this, and it's holding it here. It's not draining it. It's like sometimes it's like a soup down there at some points. It's so bad, especially around this area. Now because it's elevated, so this is the highest point in the middle, and it drains off that way and drains off that way on a slope. I've got to clear out all that on both ways, but then we've got to obviously get the water properly draining down both the right and the left areas of the back of the house. I'm just going to walk you through. So these pipes here have been put in to take the excess water. So this pipe here is the water pipe going into the house. So that's kind of the main water supply there. But all this needs removing and digging out, and that's what's going to happen at some point in the next few days. But what I'm really asking about is what I buy to drain this, because I know it needs membraning underneath, and I know it needs the perforated drainage pipe putting in. But everybody that I'm looking at, what they'll then do is then they'll cover the perforated drainage pipe with the membrane, and then they put the stones and soil on top of that. We don't really want any soil on this for obvious reasons. It just retains water. And also, if we cover the pipe with the membrane, then it stops the water from getting into the actual perforations on the pipe. So what I'm asking is, we can't fix a drain in here because it doesn't go down deep enough, and obviously this is all like massive rock. There's hardly any soil at all on this island. When I start digging this out, I might find that they have put stones all the way down anyway to get the excess water off, but we just want to do a better job if possible. So considering that I can't have a drain here, as in like an actual drain fitted, and all we want is the excess water that's coming down here and coming from the actual hill, because there's the hill going up, to collect into this drain and then funnel away. But if I cover the drain with membrane, it's going to stop it from getting in. So what do you suggest?
Hard to tell if it's concrete or flagstone.
Well, by scratching it, I think it's concrete.
Feels very flat to be stone. But this is damp. It stinks. So wouldn't be great if it was flagstone. Stinks. The damp I can smell now. This poor old house. see. Oh, what a lovely bit of film. I know why the house is still standing after 300 years. 300 plus years.
Tell me.
Because it's built in bedrock. All of this is bedrock. So we don't have half the problems with this trench that we anticipated having, because we saw it as just an overgrown trench full of mud that was seeping under the house. But if the house is built on bedrock, then this isn't going under the house.
No, and as you can see, the way that they've done this is the rock is leaning away from the house itself.
So it's like a natural trench.
Yes, so like we said, they knew what they were doing when they built it in the first place.
This is an issue, like that. I mean, the fact that it's concrete anyway is an issue.
But it's a natural barrier against the water. Well, I don't know how porous this rock is, whether water is still getting into it. It could be. But yes, as we knew anyway, this trench needs completely clearing out of all this mud and debris, which the previous occupants didn't seem to do, and just piled it up full of junk. So clean all this out, and then we've just got to wait to see if it dries.
It might mean that our plans for inside the house can change as well, because we were anticipating, well, we'll still have to lift the floorboards, the modern floorboards and the rotten chipboard that's there, but maybe the concrete will dry out. Or maybe we'll still take the concrete up and put floorboards down that can breathe.
The only thing is that concrete is so damp at the minute that as we were told, this island is predominantly rock. There's hardly any soil at all here. All these oaks are growing out of the rock itself. So I'm not surprised by this, but
well, I'd see it as good news. We don't know what's going on either side of the trench, because there's water supposed to be flowing off there, and it's not, and there's certainly damp at that end of the house. But we cleaned out all the guttering and sort of fixed some of the guttering issues yesterday, apart from this, which the last tenant left. So that's obviously just dripping straight down here and going under.
Well, we knew anyway that the angle was going, lower. This is the highest point in this trench, and the water was running down both sides. So it just needs cleaning out.
So good news.
And power washing.
Hey girls. First time down at the water's edge, including the cat. Look at her. Isa. She's gonna go in. Free the cat's being an idiot.
Earlier we spoke about the dirt track, which is the only route to the house, and this is it. So what I'm going to do now is walk the entire route. Every tin of beans has to come by this route. The mainland itself is about a mile away. That always has to be taken into account when making the crossing, just how long, because the drive is also quite hazardous. This is a deer gate. Part of the deal of securing this property was that we keep the deer from part of the island. So this always has to be locked back on the track. The worst thing we had to do was bring the mattress over here. It was damned hard work. We devised a method. We had to turn the mattress on its side and wrapped it in a tarp and lifted and pulled the whole thing down this. I've slipped several times on this, and I mean really slipped, like flat on my back. We tried bringing the quad down here, and that's why we did all this, but in the end it was just too dangerous. So we just gave up. Now everything is coming by hand, so wheelbarrows, lifts, whichever way we can get everything over here. We've still only got, I would say, 2/3 of our belongings and furniture actually over at the property. The rest is up at a byre, which is about half a mile away from where we are now. So yeah, it's not without its challenges. It's not all beautiful views.